All right, so many people in the real tennis world might not know you. Do you want to introduce yourself and where you're from?
I am Oliver Pridmore, age 18, from Hobart, Australia.
And so, Ollie, you've been on a gap year in the UK for the last few months. Do you want to say where you've been hanging about and where you've been playing?
Yeah, absolutely. So I arrived in the UK very end of January time for about the C Court Silver Racket. Big event. I was planning on getting around to the UK around that time and timed it quite well with that. So I stayed at C Court for about 4 months after that. Trained up, went over to France for a tournament, moved to Radley for one point and back to C Court, and went to the US for about a month, did some tournaments there. Then when I came back from there, it was about August time, I think, and then went to Leamington for a bit. Spent some time with Levi Gale at Preston before coming here. So busy year, been great.
And how has being touring around the UK helped your game?
It's helped immensely. By travelling around, I've visited so many different courts, met a lot of different people. I've witnessed all sorts of different play styles, and by playing on all sorts of different courts where there are pros and cons to, I guess, different tactics, I've been able to have the experience to change my game and have variety and just get better at tennis. And I've been playing every day. A lot of court time helps, so I've been just getting better that way as well.
And so in the time that you've been here, you've dropped your handicap about 15 points. What's been the trigger behind that?
So I arrived at about a 17 handicap and lost a couple matches shortly after getting here, and so I went out a bit further. But I think just the court time, when I was at C Court, I help out a lot. I jump on court for quite a few, I guess, hours every day, and just play lots of matches on the books with, I guess, the other lads my age, so Max and Will Flynn and James Medlow and that lot. I've just been playing heaps of tennis, really, doing matches on the books, off the books, all sorts, and working on what I'm not good at and trying to make them my strengths. So just all that practice.
And so 12 months ago you were playing on the junior circuit and club tournaments in Hobart, and now here you are at your second Open and your first outside of your home country of Australia. What does that feel like to be now playing at the top level?
It's pretty weird, to be honest. I don't quite get how I'm in the same tournament as like Ben Taylor Matthews or Nick Howe, but I could potentially face one of them, sort of thing. And it's I don't expect to win like a tournament just yet at well, especially not yet, but I'm certainly here for the experience and to witness tennis in person, have a good time. I'm meeting heaps of new people. I've never been to Paris before, so even as a tourist point of view, it's great to be in France, having a great time. Yeah.
And so you've played in the Coupe de Bordeaux. It was your first time playing in France. Now we're at Paris, your second time playing in France. How have you found the experience on the courts here and the atmosphere around the game here?
So when I was in Bordeaux, the first thing I noticed was this court's bouncy, really bouncy. It takes a good railroad, which I quite liked, and I was about 17 handicap at the time, so I was trying to work on quite a few things, still making quite a few mistakes, that sort of thing. But I had a great time over there. Got the win in the doubles, so that was a good success. And now I've come to Paris and I've realised Bordeaux is not bouncy. Paris is bouncy, and that I've been on court a couple of times. It's going to take a couple more before I get used to it, I think. But it's bouncy, that's for sure.
Do you think it suits your play style? Or?
We'll have to make it work, I think. I think a dead court works better for me because I tend to run a lot, and if I need to, I will just cut it off before the back wall. And then if the court's dead, my shots, if they're on the floor, they stay low, and my average shots become a little bit better. make it more difficult for my opponent, and whilst their balls I still cut off anyway and try and volley. But now they're getting all my shots back, and so I have to try and put balls away via the targets, so it'll be a real target battle for me, I think, to try and just put balls away.
And your first round, you're playing Nicolas Victoire. How do you anticipate that match going?
I'm quite keen for that match. It'll be a tough one. I've never played Victoire before. I've seen him play in Bordeaux. He made the final. It was very entertaining to watch. I'm aiming, I guess, to win that. But he's quite tall. I'm quite short. So I know he's an ex-lawn tennis player. He's got great volley, very good arsenal of serves. I presume quite a good cut volley. So I'm anticipating quite a lot of running from me. I'm just hoping to tire him out, really. Hopefully grab the first set, take the second, and then hopefully, if my play style is a lot of rallying, so hopefully he's tired by the third and it will be a little bit easier. But I guess that's the game plan.
And then what are your goals for the rest of the season?
So after the French Open, I'm planning to go to Italy, and then I'll end up back in Paris, but for the next month or so. So I'll be travelling around. Mum's flying out with my sister to meet me in Rome, and then just take a little quick break from tennis, which I must say I do look forward to. And before going back to C court is my plan. Gonna stay there for the rest of the year before heading home to. Well, I'm going back to Melbourne to play in the Australian Open before returning to Hobart for a university.
All right, fantastic. And one last question. People who may have met you around the UK will comment on your eating habits. How have you found the food here in France?
We've only been here for a couple days, but I found a couple good bakeries, so we've been well stocked. But it's been interesting. All the menus are written in French, which I do not read or speak. So it's been interesting, but we've made do so far. We'll push through, find the bakeries and hotspot them.
All right, Oliver Pridmore, thank you very much.
Thank you.